welcome back to another edition of First and Goal. I am your host, C3 First and Goal. Do me a favor if you haven't already, please follow me on X/Twitter at First and Goal underscore FNG. That's FIRSTANGOAL underscore FNG. Also, now available on YouTube and other platforms where you get all your podcast needs. Now, let's get into the show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 5 of First and Goal. And we have breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, them and theys across the world. Breaking news, emergency episode. Oh man, breaking news. What's the breaking news? I'm sure you guys already know about it already because I'm doing this podcast a little late as always, and I do apologize. But breaking news, Bryce Young is benched. Head scratcher. What in the absolute world is going on right now? Holy smokes. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Canales and the Panthers organization has decided to bench Bryce Young. Wow. After struggling in the first 2 games, Dave Canales looked at the tape after that Chargers game and said, hey, this guy ain't it. I'm kidding. But no, seriously, ladies and gentlemen, wow. Bryce Young being benched only after 2 football games. Holy smokes. Are we in trouble? Are we better off now with Andy Dalton at the helm? Where do we go from here? Talked about it a little bit on the podcast last week. It's a head scratcher. It is a head scratcher. So now that we know that Bryce Young's benched, we got the breaking news out. Let's look at it a little bit. Let's dive deep into a little bit of this Bryce Young situation. I'm gonna go over some stats. As you know, I have a plethora of kids, so I wanted to do with 2 separate episodes here, but I'm gonna combine them. This is gonna be the Bryce Young benched slash overview of the Chargers game. So let's dive into a little bit about Bryce Young here. So Bryce Young, as we know, is now benched, and Andy Dalton will be the starter week 3 versus the Raiders. The Raiders. So let's look at this here. Bryce Young. Bryce Young has struggled in the first 2 games, completing only 31 of 56 passes for 244 yards and 3 interceptions. The Panthers have started this season 0-2 and have been outscored 73-13. Yikes. I mean, I don't even know what to say about those stats. But let's continue on. The team's decision, head coach Dave Canales initially stated that Young would remain the starter, after the Chargers game prior to the breaking news. But the decision was reversed on Monday that Andy Dalton will take over as the starting quarterback for the next game versus the Las Vegas Raiders. So the question is, will he be the starter for the rest of the season? To be quite honest, in my opinion, I feel like Bryce Young's done here. I'll go into my piece about it in a second, but let's just cover this real fast, and then we'll go into it. But to be perfectly honest with you, this type of decision doesn't just happen where, hey, we're going to bench you a couple games. Let you learn the ropes a little bit. I mean, the guy's already had a full rookie season. He's played 15 games last year, and he just same thing. A lot of people wanted to talk about, hey, offensive line separation, point the fingers at everything else, and that's okay. That's fair. You want to defend your quarterback. That's our guy, right? And I get that. I've said it before, though. I'm a Panthers fan. I don't care about these players because these players don't care about us. So I'm not going to sit here and go to war for a player that could care less about me putting food on the table for my kids. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm at. I care about the team. So I mean, I have plenty of respect for Bryce. I hope this all works out for him, but you just don't get benched two weeks in the game or in the season. I'm sorry, you don't get benched 2 weeks into the season, and you're going to be starting week 6. Unless Andy Dalton just goes out there and looks even worse, which isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's a lot of glaring factors on why he was benched, minus the small tidbit of stats that I gave you right there. And we really got to stop being these Bryce homers with this guy. Like, if you want to love the guy, I'm not telling you not to love the guy. I'm just telling you to look objectively. Like, you know what I mean? Stop being so one-dimensional with this guy. You know what I mean? Respectfully, the guy's done nothing for you. You know what I mean? Like, all these people are getting all upset and worked up over this guy, and this guy's, what has he done for you? That you're over here going to town on social media for somebody that doesn't even care about you. So, and that's respectfully y'all decisions. I don't, that's fine. I'm a Panthers fan. I want the Panthers to be successful. Okay, and I agree with Coach on the decision to bench Bryce Young. Again, look at the last 2 games. We've seen zero flashes. We've seen a regress, not progress. And in any business, especially if you're coming in, we'll keep this on simple terms, not even football terms. If you get a job, right? You get a job and you're coming in this new job. You're highly recommended by, maybe your boss's friend or something. I mean, your boss's friend is going to town for you. He's telling you, hey, you got to hire my guy. This guy's so good. He's going to be the man for you. You know what I mean? He's going to be your ace in the hole. But you got to give him top dollar, right? The guy, whatever, that's making decisions like, okay, I'll give your buddy a chance, bring him on in. Guy comes in, he's all this hype, all this attention, all this potential, but when the dude gets into the, let's keep it to a field of, we'll say construction, dude gets into the first, job site, and, doesn't even know how to use a hammer, right? Doesn't even know how to use a hammer, but the dude's got all the potential, because he went to school for construction, but he's never actually been on a construction site. You know what I mean? And then he's coming in highly, regarded. So now I'm paying this guy top dollar who doesn't really even have any experience in this field. So what do you think's going to happen to that guy? Well, I'm going to tell you what happens to those guys, especially being as a manager, being in a place of, position of power and decision making. I tell you what happens to those guys. It's all eyes on those guys. And if they don't perform, they're gone faster than the next guy. And the reason why is because I'm paying this guy so much more money to do a job that he can't do. And I have other people that can do the job better that I'm paying less. You see what I mean? It makes sense. And the NFL is a business first, entertainment next. That's just how it goes. So, end of the day, this is a business. You don't perform, I tweeted it out. End of the day, it's a business. If you don't perform, you're fired. That's anywhere. So, and I'm not saying he's fired. I'm just saying there's a good chance we don't see Bryce Young again. Good chance that, and I also tweeted this out, is that we need to bench him and retain whatever value that we can with him. Essentially, whatever hype that he still does have or potential player, another team or franchise can see in him, we need to capitalize on that and just shop him and salvage what we lost. That's all we can do from here right now, in my opinion. So moving on, apparently Bryce Young had reaction to the decision. Bryce Young and those close to him were reportedly very shocked by the decision to bench him. It came as a surprise to many, including Young himself. Respectfully, bro, I don't know what you were surprised about. You know what I mean? Again, as myself, even as a position of management, if I don't go in on time, perform to my highest in capabilities, day in and day out, I don't have a job anymore. That's just it. You know what I mean? If I'm not making, the certain quotas, and if I'm not, keeping the business with certain numbers, right? It's my fault. And I'm the one that has, that loses the job, not the servers, not the cooks. Nah, none of that, bro. I'm the one that has to deal with that. I have to make sure that we're keeping our financials at a certain par. So, and it's the same thing. As a quarterback, you have to, especially as a first overall pick, coming out Heisman Trophy winner, you had a lot of expectations. And if you don't meet them expectations, you are not going to be a starter very long. And that's just how this league works. There's not enough time to wait. That's it. And, I can go on to this all day. I'm not really going to keep going on about it, but, that's where I'm at with it. And then some little fun facts here. Young is the first quarterback to be selected number one overall in the common draft era, and then to be benched in his second season for non-injury related reasons. So there's a fun little tidbit. He's the first quarterback to ever be benched in the common draft era for a non-injury reason in their second season. So that just goes to show you that he's not really performing well, and that's what the decision came about. And if you can't see that, I don't really know what to tell you. I'm not trying to convince anybody anything here on this pod. I'm just speaking facts, stats, and my piece and opinions. That's just basically all this is. So let's go over, a little bit more tidbits of stats here real quick. So we're going to do Bryce Young's first 17 games, right? So let's take a look at Bryce's first 17 games, his stats. Passing yards, 3,038. Touchdowns, 11. Interceptions, 12. Completion percentage, 58.9. Passer rating, 71.5. Rushing yards, 253. And a rushing touchdown of 1. All right. So why did I give you Bryce Young's first 17 games? Because I'm going to give you another notable first overall, first round quarterback that was drafted, and we all know his name, of Jamarcus Russell. Yes, the biggest bust in NFL history, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear his stats. Jamarcus Russell's first 17 games. Passing yards, 2,214. Touchdowns, 13. Interceptions, 8. Completion percentage, 52.1. Passer rating, 70.6. Rushing yards, 175. And 1 rushing touchdown. Those are almost identical. Identical, ladies and gentlemen, them and theys. Are you hearing me? Identical. Now, of course, they're not exact tit for tat. Oh my God. No. But are they in the same ballpark? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's almost a mirror image. It's almost a mirror image. And I've tweeted this out, and, I've gotten backlash because, that's what happens, and it's okay. And some of the backlash is, oh, well, you're an amateur analyst. Yeah, well, that's funny because I'm not the only one that's comparing the two or have found this and brought it up. I also, fired back with the exact tidbit that I'm talking about right now that CBS Sports posted. CBS Sports posted the same thing. Their stats side by side, right next to each other. But I'm amateur. Gotcha. No, you're right. I am amateur. I am new to this analyst thing. I am new to podcasting. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. However, that doesn't take away the fact that I do all my homework, and I do my research before I post anything, before I make any stat line or anything like that. I triple check and always make sure that all my stats and facts are 100% accurate. Now, my opinions are my opinions, and of course, those are opinions. So those are, take it for what you want. But my stats and my facts are always 100% on point. You can go ahead and check. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, go take a look. You don't even have to follow me. Just take a look on my Twitter page and scroll around. Anything that I ever post that's stat related is never fact checked by AI. It's never fact checked by AI. Now, I'm sure if you use social media, especially Twitter or X, you see it all the time. If there's misinformation posted, if there's any misinformation, there is an algorithm that corrects it. And they have an AI algorithm that shows you if it's wrong and tells you the exact correct information. None of my posts have that. None of them. Because I make sure that all my stats and my information is 100% accurate. You will never get a lie from me here. All right. So, again, Bryce Young, I'm not saying is Jamarcus Russell, but what I'm saying is that his numbers are very close to Jamarcus Russell, and unfortunately in Jamarcus Russell's case, they never asked or said or brought up situation, right? And some comments were, oh well, Jamarcus Russell was, a cancer in the locker room, and he was out partying and showing up underweight and or overweight and all this other stuff, and Bryce Young's working hard, and and I hate to say it, but in a sense that almost makes it worse. It almost makes it worse, when you got somebody that is working super hard and not being able to perform for someone who's getting banged up and being able to perform. It's wild. So I don't really know how to take that, but that's my piece on that part. And this is alarming. So this is why the coaches have made these decisions, and hopefully it's the right one, and hopefully Bryce can turn around from the benching. But again, like I said, I don't think we're going to see Bryce Young anymore this year, and it's a good chance that he gets traded. If not this season, probably in the off season. What we do as far as quarterback, I have no idea. That will be another podcast, but we're going to continue to move on from here. So, Andy Dalton is going to be our starting quarterback this coming week against the Las Vegas Raiders. I gotta get all these Los Angeles, Las Vegas teams figured out here. The Oakland Raiders. Anyways, so Andy Dalton gets to start here. So let's look at some of his career stats and what he's about. If you're unfamiliar with Andy Dalton, especially since we haven't really gotten to see him. So Andy Dalton played 13 seasons in the league. He played for the Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, and then obviously the Carolina Panthers now. He has a total of 38,000 passing yards, 246 touchdowns with only 144 interceptions, a 62% completion percentage, and an 87.5 passer rating. He's got over 1,400 rushing yards, 22 rushing touchdowns, and has been a 3-time Pro Bowl selection. So, pretty seasoned, if I do say so myself. He's got a pretty impressive resume, the red rifle, whatever you want to call him. He's definitely got a solid arm overall, decent. He's not the greatest by any means, but he should be a very serviceable quarterback for us for the season. So in the 2023 season, he played one game, started in week 3 due to Bryce Young's injury, and he threw for over 300 yards, had 2 touchdowns and an interception. He had a 67.4 completion percentage and also had a 98.1 passer rating, right? So the thing about that is that Dalton's performance, that 334 passing yards against Seattle, was the best passing performance for the Panthers that season. And we're wondering why Bryce got benched. Anyways, the 2022 season when he played for New Orleans, he played 14 games. He had 2,871 yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions, with a completion percentage of 66.7, a passer rating of 95.2, 75 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So, pretty decent. I mean, we would love to see numbers like that out of Bryce Young. We would be happy with that. He couldn't even put those numbers up. I mean, sure, he had some more passing yards, but his completion percentage, wasn't the greatest. On top of that, his passer rating wasn't that great. His passer rating is only 71.5 in the first 17 games. Meanwhile, Andy Dalton in 2022 played 14 and had a 95. with less passing yards, way more touchdowns, less interceptions. Come on. It's the numbers don't lie. That's one thing you'll get with me is the numbers don't lie. So that's a little background about Andy Dalton. He's going to be a very serviceable quarterback for us for these next however many games until or if we decide to bring Bryce back out there. Which again, I don't see it happening. I feel like Bryce Young is done here in Carolina. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I told you so's and all that other stuff because, at this point, I'm over it. I don't even care anymore, dude. I said what I had to say in the early draft process a couple years ago. Everybody wanted to slander and hate and I don't know ball. And, well, here we are, not even 2 years later, benching that guy that you were all high and mighty about, and now Andy Dalton starting over him. And also that dude that you were so sure was going to be the next thing since sliced bread is on par with Jamarcus Russell, the biggest bust in NFL history. So we're just going to leave it at that. And, you can take it for what it is. And again, this isn't a knock on Bryce. It's just facts. It's facts. As I said before, the dude's skill sets was never going to translate. He's not big enough. He's not fast enough. He's not strong enough to play off platform and try to scramble to make time. Like you can get away with that in college. You can't get away with that in the league. And I said it 100 million times and boom, what do you know? It's exactly what I said it was. So I ain't Nostradamus, but when it comes to this football stuff, especially evaluation of talent, that's, I would like to say my strong point. So that's all I got on the whole Bryce Young thing. Again, I wish Bryce the best of luck. I hope him the best in all his endeavors. But he fleeced us for $34 million. So that's just how I see it. And that could have went to somebody else that could have actually contributed to the success of this team, in my opinion. So moving on, let's get into the Chargers versus Panthers overview. I'll run this down pretty quick. We'll just talk about, the normal things I do. We go over some stats. We go over some key factors, some key performers, PFF grades, and then we'll wrap it up. So the Chargers took on the Carolina Panthers, obviously last Sunday. And let's go over some stats. So Panthers and Chargers, first downs. Chargers had 21 to the Panthers 7. Bro, disgusting. I'm just going to go down because this is just going to get aggravating quickly. Passing first downs, the Chargers had 8, we had 3. Rushing first downs, Chargers had 10, we had 4. First down from penalties, Chargers had 3, we had 0. Go figure. Third down efficiency. Well, we were a little bit better on the defensive side with third downs because the Chargers were 9 for 16. That was a little bit more than 50% there. We were a 1 for 12. 7 first downs, 1 for 12 on third down. Wow. You're never winning a game that way. That's right there. Game's over. I don't even need to say anything else. Fourth down efficiency, again, the Chargers didn't even need to attempt fourth down. We tried 3 times and only got it once. I feel like that was the same thing last week. God. Total plays. The Chargers had 65, we had 46. Total yards, the Chargers had 349, we had 159. Good Lord. We're talking almost 60 minutes of football, and we couldn't even get 200 yards. Wow. Total drives, 12. Chargers, Panthers, 11. They had one more drive than we did, and we still couldn't even put any points on the board. God. Well, touchdown at least. Yards per play, they averaged 5.4. We averaged 3.5 because Bryce can't throw the ball further than 10 yards. Passing, 130 passing yards to our 69 passing yards. We didn't even have 100 passing yards, ladies and gentlemen, but we're still slamming on the table for Bryce Young to be our starting quarterback. Hilarious. Completions and attempts. They had 14 out of 20. We were 18 out of 26. Trash. That's not too terrible, but still, we're throwing the ball too much. Again, Yards per pass, 6.2 for the Chargers, where ours was 2.5, 2.5 yards per pass. Are you kidding me? We're throwing the ball 2 flipping yards, bro. 2 flipping yards. And this is the guy you wanted to be our quarterback? Leave, man. You got me jacked up around here, man. You got me all the way messed up. Anyways, interceptions thrown, one apiece. No surprise there. That dude's freaking bird box out there, bro. He's out there with the blindfold playing quarterback. Anyways, rushing yards, 219, the Chargers. 219. 219 yards. We didn't have 219 total yards. They had 219 yards rushing, running all over us. We can't stop a freaking nosebleed right now. Like, come on, man. And we had 90 rushing yards, and then we stopped running the ball. The only thing that was effective, we gave up on almost immediately. Like, I can't understand this stuff, man. I can't understand this stuff. Rushing attempts, they did 44 rushing attempts. We had 18. 18. Never going to win the game by not controlling the ball. I've said it a million times. If you don't control the ball, you're not going to win the game. And then they averaged 5 yards per rush, and so did we. So two runs is a first down, and we went 1 for 12 on third down. What are we doing? What are we doing? The numbers don't lie. The numbers literally tell you the story. We went 1 for 12 on third down, but we averaged 5 yards per run. All we need to do is run the ball 2 times for a first down, bro. What are we doing? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Anyways, it's frustrating when you really look at the numbers. It really is. So, sacks and yards lost. Chargers had 1 for 0 yards. We had 2 for 15. So, again, Bryce, that's all that dude does is take sacks and throw picks. That's why he got benched. The numbers don't lie. Fumbles lost. They lost a fumble. We didn't. Again, even split on the interceptions. And then we were 0 for 0 in the red zone. They were 1 for 2 in the red zone. And then the almighty time of possession. Once again, we have allowed our opponent to control the ball for almost 40 minutes. 36 minutes is almost the same exact time as the Saints had it last week or the week prior. They have the ball for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Oh my God, that's literally half the game. Ay. So that's the stats. It's really, it hurts. It hurts. And again, a lot of this, it's not just one person. It's a collection. But holy smokes, man! Look at them numbers. I really had to push my fingers into my eyes right there. Good Lord. Anyways, God, it hurts to talk about that. So, what led to these stats? Well, I'll tell you right now. Ground game dominance. And exactly what Dave Canales promised us and has yet to actually cash in on. Ground game dominance. Because, we average 5 yards per carry, but we run the ball 18 times. Anyways, the Chargers' run game on the other side was a major factor in their 26-3 victory. They amassed 219 rushing yards, with J.K. Dobbins coming off an injury looking like Adrian Peterson setting the single-season rushing record almost on us. Good Lord. And Dobbins rushed for 131 yards on 17 carries, including a 43-yard touchdown run. And that's what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing. We didn't even give Jim Harbaugh an opportunity to even come to Carolina for an interview. We didn't even interview the guy. We were just like, we're good, bro. We're good. Then he comes to Carolina with the team that decided to actually take him, drop 26 points on us, run 200-plus yards on us, and then say, hey, have a nice day. Come on. And the guy that actually nobody was interviewing, we decided to interview and give a job to. That's what we do. And then we're wondering why we're not good when it comes to week 1. The decisions, man, they build up. They build up. It's a tumbleweed effect. So that was one of the main reasons why we lost. We couldn't stop the run. They knew that. Came in with a very strong heavy power set formations, twin tight end. They were just stacking up and running all over us. And then the defense prowess. The Chargers defense was equally impressive, shutting us down. We couldn't even score. They limited us to just 159 total yards and allowed only one successful third down conversion on 12 attempts, like I already went over, which is absolutely atrocious. The defense effort stifled us. And we were not able to sustain drive or score any points. It was disgusting. And then out of all of this, we allow the emergence of Quentin Johnson. The second-year wide receiver had a breakout game, catching 5 passes for 51 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns, providing a significant boost for the Chargers in their pass game and showcased their depth of their receiving corps. Meanwhile, we can't even get one measly passing touchdown. We haven't scored a passing touchdown in the last 2 games. Our only touchdown came off of Bryce Young's feet, which he had to run it in because he more than likely didn't know couldn't throw it. So, it's just the guy misses open players when he has time. It's disgusting to watch. And again, another key situation here is we struggled, obviously. We struggled very much. Our offensive struggled, again, managing only 159 total yards. We were unable to convert on third downs and generate consistent offensive momentum. Critical factor in the defeat. I've said it already. Critical factor. These are how you lose football games. And then, once again, we got outcoached. We got outcoached because our coach is a rookie head coach. And, yeah, he's a good offensive mind, but I don't know. I'm more of a defensive guy. I like the defensive coach. Look at D'Amico Ryans over there in Houston. Steve Wilkes. You know what I mean? I like the defensive guys. I feel like they stick more to the classic, ground and pound, smash mouth type of football. Air it out. Later on after you tired them out. That's the type of football I like to see. But we got outcoached. And the Chargers coaching staff, led by Jim Harbaugh, like I said, who we didn't even offer an interview to, executed a well-rounded game plan that emphasized a strong running game because why? We can't stop the run. So you develop a game plan to your opponent's weaknesses. Wow, this is revolutionary, Jim. I didn't know that's how you coached. I thought you just, put together some plays and then just, hey guys, we're gonna go out there and have fun. Yeah, nah, bro. This ain't Little Loot, all right? This ain't Pop Warner, bro. You out here making $25 million, my boy. You better make that layup pass. You better take that hit. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just your average Joe Day, my boy. You out here making millions of dollars to play a game that kids and people do for fun. And you out here getting paid millions. I want to see some professionalism, dang it. Come on now. And again, we got outcoached. Like I said, the guy we didn't even offer an interview to. He won a national championship with Michigan. He was a great coach with San Fran. He's got experience, knows what he's doing. We did that with Frank Wright. Frank Wright we all know Frank Wright wasn't the right coach for us. And the fact that we even got him was ridiculous. You know what I mean? I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to speak on that too much, but what are we doing? And I hate to say it, but all roads lead to Tepper. It's evident. All the reports have come out multiple times about him meddling. He was just on the practice field the other day after the benching of Bryce Young, talking to Adam Thielen. I seen it. This guy's in over his head, man. He just needs to sit back and let the management manage. Let management manage. Even Bill Belichick was calling him out on ESPN. You're going through GMs and head coaches you're changing clothes. You can't do that. You got to have some stability in the organization or nobody's going to want to come here. God. Anyways, let's go over some stats from this game. Bryce Young stats versus the Chargers. Why did he get benched? Well, when you're 12 for 24 on completion attempts, you have under 100 passing yards at 98 passing yards on 24 attempts, 0 touchdowns, an interception, and 4 sacks. 3 of them easily because you don't know how to throw the ball away, how to read defenses, how to check audibles, how to check blitzes. None of that. Oh my goodness gracious. That's why. That's why. Or you're throwing before the sticks, underneath the sticks on 3rd and 4th downs, 3rd and 7, and you're throwing it 2 yards. You can't tell me you're not because I got it right here, bro. Our average pass was 2.5 yards. What are we doing? That's why he got benched. Anyways, who else was a key performer for us? Chuber Hubbard. We're averaging 5 yards a run, but we only want to run the ball 18 times. We want to run the ball for a first down after not getting a first down throughout the whole game, and then our next play is a pass which gets intercepted. What are we talking about? Yeah, I'm fired up today. So what else we got here? Like I said, Chuber Hubbard. Russian. This guy should be on pace for 1,000 yards already, but we don't know how to run the freaking ball. 10 carries? Are you kidding me? 64 yards, dude. 64 yards on 10 carries. That's almost as much as Bryce's passing yards on 24 attempts. I'm baffled. Anyways, it's ridiculous. 10 carries, 64 yards, our only highlight of this season so far. Adam Thielen, 4 receptions, 44 yards. I don't even have anybody else to put on here because we had nobody to perform on the offense because it's not being operated properly. You can miss me with the everybody else problem. Miss me with that. I'm putting it down right now. And anybody listening, right now I'm calling it. I bet you not only do we win this Sunday, but we look a million times better. And then you can miss me with all that Bryce the GOAT or whatever the crap. Because I'm done hearing it about it. I'm done hearing about it. Dude's done nothing, bro. Done nothing but bring us misery and deception and pain. And we still going to town for this guy. You know what these Bryce Young fans are? These Bryce Young fans are Alabama fans that just like Bryce Young, and that's it. I won't be that. We won't be that. Okay? If you're an Alabama fan, roll Tide, baby. That's cool. But here in the Carolinas, and I can't speak for everybody, I'm just speaking for myself, Carolina Panthers, bro. That's what we like. I don't care who's on the team. The players don't stay forever. There's only a small handful of players that ever stick around. And not just career-wise, I mean forever-wise. And I went over that on my last podcast. I said you only get a few Thomas Davises coming around once in a while. You only get a few Julius Peppers that come around once in a while. Born and raised in the country. Cornbread fed. Went to Charlotte High School, you know what I'm saying, and still lives in Charlotte, even after their career is over. Very small few people do that. Those are the dudes you need to be going to bat for, not some dude we just drafted who's done nothing, and yet we're still going to go to town for him. Whatever. Moving on, defense. Defense, again, they look much better this week. That's great. Super happy about that. Defense looks so much better. Let's talk a little bit about some key performers. Shaq Thompson had 15 tackles. Great job, Shaq. He's been up and down. It's only been 2 games. Last game, versus the Saints, he was all right. He did good, but I really like to see more out of Shaq. But he is aging, so I'll take 15 tackles out of Shaq Thompson, definitely. And then Yossi Jewell, he had 10 tackles and a fumble recovery. Everybody was kind of already knocking him already. Again, guys, we got to give these guys some time to develop here. As far as chemistry-wise goes in this defense, we got a lot of turnover. These guys, it's going to take them a little bit to get that communication, get that gel going. J.C. Horn had an interception, his 4th career interception, pretty solid. He gave up that 1 touchdown, but then he made it up, coming back, getting that pick. So not too bad. DJ Johnson got his 1st career sack. He shared that strip sack, I believe, with Jaden Peavy, which, again, this guy's just been literally making plays left and right, bro. Jaden Peavy might be like a low-key, gem. So, shout out to Jaden Peavy. This guy's, every time I'm doing my pods, I have him on my list of notes for some kind of stat line that he did something. So, Jaden Peavy, man, wow, what a gem. And then another gem, too, Mike Jackson. That guy we got from Seattle, he's really been solid. So when we get Dane Jackson back, he might be nickel corner. We'll see. But Mike Jackson, dude, he had 7 tackles and a pass breakup. So shout out him. Ashawn Robinson, he had 9 tackles. So, some guys played decent on that defense. We held them in check as well as we could. But again, when your offense is on the field, or I'm sorry, when your defense is playing 90% of the game, they're going to start to get tired. They're going to start giving up plays. That's just it. But despite the individual efforts, the Panthers still struggled to contain the Chargers offense. And again, that's because when you are consistently going 3 and out and your defense is on getting a minute and a half to 2 minutes of rest because your offense gets the ball and goes 3 and out, and now we're punting and they don't even get a chance to get some water yet or some Gatorade and they're back on the field. Yeah, dude, you're not winning the game that way. That's been the Panthers' problem for a while, and we're still looking elsewhere. Miss me with that, please. But yeah, we struggled to contain the Chargers' offense because we couldn't stay on the field offensively, particularly in the run game, which we, like I said, allowed over 200 rushing yards, unacceptable. If we can't stop the run, we're never going to win a game. That's just clear-cut facts, and we weren't able to do that, so that's why we lost. So I'll give a quick little mention to some Chargers players real fast. Justin Herbert played a decent game. He went 22 for 32, 245 yards, 2 TDs. J.K. Dobbins, 17 carries, 131 yards, and like I said, the touchdown. Quentin Johnson had 5 receptions, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then Joey Bosa, 2 sacks, 4 tackles. Remember, I brought that out. You got to watch that guy. And then Derwin James, 7 tackles, someone that I really wanted us to draft. Not going to get into that, but whatever. 7 tackles, 1 reception. So, overall, like I said, if you don't stop the run, if you don't have a concise game plan, and if you're not willing to make adjustments or actually live up to what you say by being stubborn with the run, we'll never win a game. And, with Andy Dalton now taking the helm, we'll see a completely different offense, just like we did when he took over last year in Seattle. We're going to be airing it out more. We're definitely going to be running it more because his capabilities are different from Bryce. We're going to see a much different team. Will he win? We'll see. I feel like out of all the games that we have coming up right now, the Raiders are probably the best chance to get right. So if we can really come out and look good in this game against the Raiders, we might have some hope. But it really depends on how Andy Dalton looks. He hasn't took a snap in a little while, so we'll see how he looks. All right, so let's go over some PFF grades and then wrap up the show. So our best performers, offense, PFF grades. Robert Hunt, right guard. He had a 74.1. Taylor Moton with a 67.1. Funny thing is that Jordan Matthews was on there with a 69.8, and we let him go. Miles Sanders had a 67, and Chuba Hubbard with a 65. Those are our best offensive performers. Best defense, Jordan Fuller, bounce back game after week 1. He had a 74.1. J.C. Horn, 69.5. Mike Jackson, 65.7. Shaq Thompson had a 65.4, and Jaden Peavy with a 58.6. That is the 3rd week in a row. Peavy has been our top PFF grade. Like I said, shout out to Jaden Peavy. And also, if you don't know who he is, give this guy a follow on X as well. This guy might be an upcoming performer for us. I'm telling you right now, this guy has been on my notes the last 3 weeks in a row. So, shout out to Jaden Peavy. And now our worst performers. Offense, Jonathan Mingo at 52.3. Damian Lewis had an off game this week at a 51.6. Xavier Legette, hurts to say his name in our worst performers, but yeah, he's not getting that many snaps. We pull up the snaps there, it can kind of help tell the story a little more. I'm not going to get into that because I want to wrap up the show here, but 51.1 for Xavier Legette. Jatavion Sanders, 42.1. And then our worst offensive performer, again, Bryce Young at a 38.8. That's why you got benched. Out defense side, Echo Leota at a 49.4. He was cut. Ashawn Robinson was also on here with the 46.2, which is weird because he had 9 tackles. He actually played pretty good. But he was, PFF grades, all factors, not just stats. Nick Thurman with a 45.4. LeBron Ray with a 43.1, and then Jadeveon Clowney with a 30.5, and that's very disappointing considering he was a top guy, and a definite beast at run stopping. So, it was a tough game across the board. So all I can say is from that game, we just need to take it with a grain of salt. Lick our wounds here, and essentially just come back this week against the Raiders with a strong mind to run the ball, open up some play actions, take some shots down the field with Andy Dalton, and try to control time of possession. Because that's what's been killing us these last couple of games. Allowing 40 minutes to the other team is never going to win you games. Not converting on third downs is never going to win you games. And not playing to your strengths are never going to win you games. So I would really like to see these 3 things happen in the next in this game coming up against the Raiders, which I feel like we can do this, but it's just got to be a collective. So that's basically it for today's show. Again, I appreciate everybody that's been listening and following me and going through this journey with me. Put a little emotion into this one. This is generally how I normally conversate when it comes to the Panthers. I'm a little bit more enthusiastic and ready to rock and roll. But, the first few episodes, I don't want to come out hot. So just wanted to, again, just get, my opinions and thoughts on the team out there in my own way, and just have my own entity here. So again, I really appreciate everybody that is listening and that has been following me. You guys are awesome. You're real ones. Yeah, I really appreciate everyone. So that's going to wrap up today's show here. I hope everyone has a blessed and lovely day. Until next time, stay blessed and keep pounding. And as always, first and goal.